The featured patient in each episode generally elicits a different reaction from viewers, as patients' conditions can be extreme and may come with eye-opening moments for the people watching. But even though we feel sorry for most of them, some patients stand out for being totally mulish thickheads who are hard to get through. So in today's video, we will be looking at some of the most complicated patients from the show. Let's roll. Donald Shelton.
Just being a big person, I can't just get up and walk around like most normal people can.
Shelton began his weight loss journey back in 2012 when he weighed a whopping 678 pounds. He was now one of the most complicated patients to be examined by a doctor, since, in addition to being obsessed with food, he also had a meth addiction, which had put his life into real extreme jeopardy. When the consequences of his poor decisions became too real for him, he resolved to make a permanent change and travel to Houston to seek medical help. Though his time in the program went well, with him losing a staggering 300 pounds and being approved for surgery, the real tumbling came after that, as the surgery did more harm than good to his health. Donald had problems walking, and when he couldn't go any further, he admitted himself back into the hospital. But he lapsed into a coma shortly after. His state was so deplorable that it emotionally tore viewers apart. He was eventually diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare and potentially fatal condition. Donald became unable to walk as a result of his condition, and he began to use a wheelchair. Shelton gained 200 pounds after learning the shocking news. Despite the setback, he was motivated to repeat his feat and was eager to take on his weight in a more aggressive manner this time. After losing the show on a hopeful note, Donald appeared to be a single and still living in Texas, and his recent social media posts show that he's lost a good amount of weight on his own.
Here's the plan. I want to be under 300 pounds. And we're going to walk in 3 months.
Yep.
Lupe Samano.
Being this overweight, everything I do is hard and it's a struggle.
Lupe was one of the show's patients who experienced difficulties even after the camera stopped rolling. Despite the fact that she arrived on the show with 642 pounds and had been bedridden for the past 12 years, her stint on the show was no less dramatic. And like many other patients on the show, we saw her struggle with her diet and exercise, but things eventually fell into place, and she was able to lose an incredible 295 pounds. She underwent surgery as a result and lost an additional 220 pounds. But as we told earlier, her weight loss had an adverse attachment to her personal life, as Gilbert, Lupe's then husband, assaulted her in a horrible incident in her episode, forcing her to be intimate with him even though her operation was still new. Lupe's stitches were ripped open and her wounds got infected as a result. Samano then got divorced from Gilbert and moved to Redlands, California, where she met her new love, Andrew Renteria. But sadly, he passed away in 2019 as a result of kidney troubles. Renteria's death, she admitted, was devastating for her. Lupe, despite her personal difficulties, attempts to maintain a cheerful attitude in life.
I'm in a hotel right now because I have left Gilbert. I'm done with his cheating, his drinking.
Dolly Martinez.
The only thing powerful enough to distract me from darker thoughts is food.
When we first saw the 25-year-old Dolly, she was not only immobile, but she also had been suffering from bad hygiene, heart failure, and respiratory difficulties for a long time due to her size. Her morbidity was closely linked to her father's substance abuse, which forced her mother to raise her family on her own. Dolly was diagnosed with ADD while she was still in kindergarten, which made life difficult for her and her family. At this point, Dolly began to feel singled out, forcing her to seek even more solace in the only thing she believed would never judge or harm her: food. As a result, at the age of 7, she weighed 120 pounds, leading to teasing and a horrific consuming cycle that made her reach 300 pounds by the age of 15. Later in life, when she was a little older, her mother came out as being gay, and her father died of a meth overdose, increasing her dependency on food even more. And her husband, on the other hand, did her no good either, as he not only abused her, but also enabled her, which led to a brutal custody fight. Dolly came to Dr. Now to give her daughter a normal life, and on her first weighing, she weighed 593 pounds. But her food cravings persisted, and she made no improvement. Even going to the therapist wasn't working for her, so the doctor rejected his surgery plan. Dr. Now made it obvious that he will not be able to help her if she's unable to meet her milestones on her own. She was finally sent home and is now attempting to reduce weight on her own.
I'm disappointed because I can't believe I've gone through all of this and weight loss surgery is still far off.
Robin McKinley.
I know we both can't keep going like this, but if we can do this together, I feel confident we at least have a chance.
Robin came on the show along with her nephew weighing in, and the episode showcased how even minor tasks of her life were exhausting for her. Due to her weight, the former teacher had to resign from her job. Her morbidity made the knee cartilage wear and tear, and she was confined to a wheelchair. She even said that her knee bones were rubbing together, creating terrible discomfort. But after losing her sister to morbidity, she decided that she was done with her miserable sort of life. So she went to the doctor, and with his help, she went down to 337 pounds, a 42% reduction in body fat. Regrettably, it does not appear that Robin has maintained her healthy lifestyle. Her recent posts show that she lost no weight after leaving the show. This leads many to believe that she's reverted to her previous habits, and it appears pretty much the same as she did at the start of the episode.
It's been a month since my surgery, and I feel really good.
Crystal Hall.
I hate how I'm passing on how I eat to Josh.
I can't live with myself if he ends up like me.
34-year-old Ohio native Crystal appeared with her unselfish husband who adored his wife to the core. Despite having diabetes, high blood pressure, and gastrointestinal trouble, Crystal was also suffering from PCOS, which made it difficult for her to conceive. So she adopted her nephew Josh, whom she adored to the point where it upset her when he was embarrassed to be seen with her in public. Crystal's weight was interfering with her day-to-day activities, as it was with most of the others on the show. She wasn't living the healthiest of lives, and she was fully aware that her unhealthy relationship with food influenced both her relationships with her family and how she felt on the inside. Crystal told on the show that she'd been traumatized since she was a child. A cousin sexually assaulted her. Her sisters and she were also physically abused by her mother's lover. Later, his brother sexually molested all of them, so she turned to food as a coping technique. She soon discovered that the bigger she got, the less she was touched, and she never stopped eating as a result. She weighed close to 618 pounds when she entered the show, and by the time she was down to 527 pounds, shedding 91 pounds, Dr. Now cleared her for gastric bypass surgery. But as the epidemic spread, she gained 53 pounds, putting her surgery in jeopardy, but she was given another opportunity and pulled through.
It was just hard feeling like I was going nowhere for so long. But things are back on track.
Before we go on to the last complicated star on our list, we'd love to hear your thoughts on today's video, as well as if you have any favorite shows that you'd like to see on our channel. Lisa Eberson.
I'm covered up, and I really didn't even notice it until my legs and feet and stuff started hurting so bad.
On the nastiest thing, we get to see on My 600-Pound Life how people who are almost dying will do anything to get their way. Throughout the years, we saw Fleming shouting, King lying, and Murray manipulating the system to get the food that was actually killing them. Yes, I'm referring to those bunch of thickheads. Eberson fell into the same category. During her whole episode, she did nothing but lie. She even made up the fake pain in her ankle to fool Dr. Now. Whenever she was asked to exercise, she expressed the fear of her ankle popping out of its place, as there was too much strain on it. She even said that she didn't want to see her therapist because she called Lisa fat. But Dr. Now was not ready to fall for her unbelievable tales, as she was not making any progress. Later that year, Lisa and her boyfriend were admitted to the hospital due to COVID, where Randy passed away. But Lisa managed to recover despite her health condition, and even lost over 80 pounds while in the hospital. But her recent photos don't show any progress at all.
You would like to go over, discuss that we haven't talked about?
Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.